Welcome to Can, the marketing podcast. I'm Ben from Human Digital, the B2B marketing agency.
And I'm Steph from Q Marketing, making brands shine since ages ago.
This week, we're talking influencers, or content creators, as Steph insists on calling them.
Yes, because nothing says credibility like a 22-year-old calling themselves a thought leader. But also, they're kind of running the internet now, so I guess we should probably pay attention, right?
Yes, indeed. Remember, we release a new episode every week, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hey, Steph, how's it going?
Good, thanks, Ben. Good afternoon. What's been happening in your world this week?
Well, I had a lovely Easter break. We went on a friend's vacation to Hawaii, which is it's a bit of an annual thing with my group of friends. So we booked an Airbnb, and Airbnb was very retro, lots of Frida Kahlo.
I love it. Did you take photos?
It was good. It was very kitsch. Yeah, I did take photos. They had a water tank, so the water pressure wasn't amazing, but we made it work. So it was a lot of beach. We did some board games. We played this Guess the Music song board game. I forget the name of it. I need to find out. Did a lot of hiking, which we love. Swam at the beach. And we also watched a movie, Wuthering Heights, which was, I really enjoyed it.
Once again, you and I seem to have, very parallel social lives.
We do.
So I was in the Coromandel over Easter also.
Very good.
The only board game, I played Monopoly Deal, actually.
I love Monopoly Deal. It's so portable. I love it.
It's only $10, anyone who doesn't have Monopoly Deal. In fact, when I posted on Instagram, one of my friends was like, "What is that game that you're playing?" I'm like, how do you not know about Monopoly Deal? And it's the best game because it's about the only card game I can actually play, so I'm not very good at
It's
games.
really good. So I found the name of the game. The game we played was called Hitster, and it integrates with Spotify.
So it's like a live-ish version.
Yeah, it's like so the cards are face down and you scan a QR code, it plays the song, and then you have to place that, you have to know what the song is, and then you have to place the year it was in order for the other cards that you have. So it was cool. It's obviously in partnership with Spotify, but yeah, really, really fun game. And then this week I went to conference, it was more an afternoon, called Scale Up in the Cloud with Claude, Code, and Agentic AI. And that was hosted by AWS in their offices in Auckland. And it was really insightful. The good news I have is not ready to replace marketers anytime soon.
That is good
for
news.
end to end. Yeah, people should be testing it. And I did do a little bit of a story. But
Tell you what.
how was your Easter and how's your week?
Well, I was so sick last week. And so I went down to Kuatunu and did a lot of sleeping, basically, and just really recovery. Like I just haven't been that sick for such a long time. One thing that was really cool down there is there's a portable, I think I might have talked about it before, there's a portable sauna.
Yes.
And yeah, it's called Sauna Aura, and you do the 15 minutes in the sauna, cold plunge, 15, cold plunge, 15. And so I was really nervous about going on the Sunday night because we'd pre-booked it like 2 weeks in advance. And I thought, oh God, I'm so sick. This is going to be awful and I'm going to be coughing. But actually, it was the best thing. I think it actually made me healthier. It was great. So that was awesome. And then I also watched a movie. So I think last time we spoke, you recommended Best in Show.
Yes. Oh, you watched it.
Yeah,
amazing.
I watched it. But I tell you what, there were 4 of us who were away. Only 50% of us wanted to watch it, and even then I reluctantly had to get my daughter to watch it. So it's not for everyone, but I did enjoy it. It was great.
The comedy is hilarious.
Yeah, it was really funny. And then again, us having parallel lives, I also did an AI. I sat in on an AI training session via the NZTE last week, which was really interesting. So the NZTE are really embracing supporting New Zealand businesses to adopt AI and giving them, and they've at the moment they've done a SaaS version. Interestingly, both my clients have attended both of these for different categories. So they had a whole day on SaaS, and then last week was an hour and a half, I think it was, for FMCG businesses to look at how to have the sales conversations, category reviews, retail reviews, and things like that. And so that was really good. And I think really exciting to see the NZTE really kind of just embracing it. And they're just putting on lots of training and events and making it accessible for people who do want to expand overseas and use AI to help them do it. Because as we know, New Zealanders don't always have a lot of resource. So shout out to Janine Chamberlain. She was the trainer and she did an amazing job. So there you go.
Well done. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Okay. Hit us with the news this week, please, Ben.
Yes, so I've got one piece of news. So O Media, which is an outdoor marketing company, outdoor media, they are shutting down their retail media arm called Rio come the 30th of June. So what they're doing is they're essentially refocusing on their core out-of-home business and getting out of owned retail media, which is interesting.
Do you mean, like, when they say retail media, do you mean like the screens and things that are in malls and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so this is, I think, specifically in specific shops. So if you were in Coles or Woolies or what have you, Bunnings. So, I mean, this is a move. I mean, the retail media is having a big surge, and there are a lot of retailers that are pushing their networks. I think what is happening is that the brands are wanting to run and manage it themselves. So they see it as an extension of their internal tools. And a big revenue in it.
I was just going to say it's revenue, right? Like that's exactly what it is. That's interesting because I was going to say if you spoke to the warehouse, for example, they would be such big fans of retail media. Like that's a big part of they'd be selling that to you inside the warehouse. So I see what you're saying. That O Media are giving it up so that
the brands can do it themselves.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
So not an easy job, but if you've got the right internal team, I think it's a great thing.
Yes.
What's in your news?
Okay, so I love basically my news is advertising. So we've talked we've done an episode on nostalgia marketing, and this cracks me up because there's two examples this week that I've saved. One is we've talked about Hudson the Cookie Bear, and we've talked about Griffins and my strong feelings on Griffins. Have you seen their new campaign
for Griffins? Yes, I've seen a little bit, a bit of the Need a Biscuit. I haven't delved into it a lot.
No, but you know what's great about it, Ben? Easy to understand. Life needs a biscuit. Like it's not hard to.
And especially in these current times that we're living in,
we could all do.
We need a lot of biscuits.
I could do with a sampler pack.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, we love a biscuit. It's a nice, affordable treat. The problem I have is I can't stop at one biscuit. That's I will go through the whole pack.
I managed to eat a third of a packet of Reese's Pieces the other day, and I stopped there, and I was very proud of myself.
Well done! Yeah, you put it away.
Yeah. So what's cool about this is it's really simple in its messaging, and it's multi-channel as far as I can tell. But what I wanted to talk about today was our old friends at Motion Sickness have done a song with some old people talking about their things that they happen in their lives and how they just they need a biscuit. So this is where I love full 360 marketing, right? So it's not just I've done a wobbler in a store, and I've done a TVC, and I might have done some digital ads. I really like that they've brought this to life with old people singing songs. So and Motion Sickness Agency of the Year, Access Award winner. So good on them.
Great stories, research led, brilliant, great creative, great ideas.
So, and then the other thing, do you ever have moments on LinkedIn where you see a post and you're like, oh, I don't really want to say something, but I'm not quite sure how it will be interpreted, or how do I say this politely? If you
Yeah, and sometimes I just say it. Like I do I do a lot of different posts. I do an article sometimes. I do short posts, and then sometimes I just write words. Like recently I was like, if I see another uncomfortable truth, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah.
So I think that's good about the medium. It doesn't have to be a fully thought out photo, thoughtful article. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I wish people would put more thought into their posts, but I see what he was saying. So there was a post on LinkedIn that I saw this week, and Karuba have rebranded again, and obviously, having worked in the alcohol space, what they've done is they've gone back almost to the 1970s packaging. It is so And the reason I wanted to post about it is because I did the last rebrand, and so it felt really personal. So about 10 years ago, we redid the packaging on it. What is cool about it is it's kept all of the distinctive brand assets. Personally, don't know that I like the actual the direction in which it's gone. I'd be super interested to hear your perspective on it just as an outsider. And maybe I'm being too precious because it just felt like it was my baby and my piece of work. But I find it quite confrontingly garish. But hey, each to their own. So anyway, I took the high road. I said nothing. And if anyone is a Karuba fan listening to this podcast, go out and buy yourself some Karuba.
Karuba.
Coke.
Yeah. Have they done the full like it's in fridges and on shelves everywhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't personally paid attention to it, but I will keep my eye out.
Should have organised you some for your trip to Hawaii.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So
okay.
What are we talking about this episode?
Okay. So back when we started this podcast, way back in June last year, one of the massive things that was such a big trend, in fact, a lot of the chats at Khan were about it, was the rise of, that was all about influencers, right? So you met a few of your heroes in lifts and whatnot.
I did. It was storytelling, was influencers, and it was, it was the modern economy. It was pre-AI, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like it was coming, but it was back in the good old days.
9 months ago. So I thought this would be a good one to cover off. So basically, when we were at Cannes, there was a lot of talk around not just calling people influencers, but talking about the creator economy. And I loved the idea of it. And that moment for me was there have been a couple of influencers that have really made a significant difference to brand. And the other reason this was top of mind for me this week is I got sent, Tracksuit have done a paper on what brands are doing well and what they're not doing well when it comes to influencers. It's for me personally, it's come at a time where I'm trying to launch some product into a market and I'm looking at doing influencer reviews. And it really made me stop and think about whether I'm doing a good job or not. And so I thought it was really good. Let's unpack this because, you and I are at the slightly older end of the marketing.
We are. We're definitely not the newest generation. But we have ideas, and I mean, technically, we're creating content, Steph. Like this is content.
I'd stop short of saying that we were influencers, but yes, let's just call ourselves creators. So, I mean, I just wanted to kind of open the floor and go, look, you work more in a B2B sense, but I feel like if anyone's close to influencers and creators, I feel like you might actually be a bit more of a subject matter expert in your personal life. And just off the cuff, what works for you when in terms of those collaborations and influencers working with brands, just in terms of your personal preference?
Definitely. And per usual, I will bring the B2B flavor as well. And I think, there is a big surge in influencers for B2B brands as well as B2B brands become, more B2C, if you like, I guess. Yeah, but B2B buyers don't really start with brands anymore. They start with people. They also start with product. I mean, if we think about that buying process from discovery all the way through to purchase, they will have brands in mind already or products and services. But this is like influencers is a key part, like not just top of funnel, but yes, very important top of funnel, but also mid and bottom of funnel as well. And I think that's what you're facing into with, where in the funnel are you going to use these influencers?
Well, I'm so pleased that you've said this. I'll loop back to the B2B thing in a minute, but you make a really good point. And the struggle that I've personally been facing is there's a strong desire to measure results from influencers. And I actually went back and found a study that WARC had done around where and how you should use influencers. And typically speaking, they are more top of funnel, right? So it's building credibility and it's helping.
But not even building credibility. I mean, it's building awareness. And I think when you're looking at content, you are either educating someone or you're entertaining them or you're doing both. And the best content creators are doing an element of either education or entertainment.
Yeah.
And depending on where you are in the funnel, you can use influencers in different ways. So if you're at the top of the funnel, it's entertaining, education, earning that attention.
Definitely
The
attention.
middle,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And then middle of funnel, it's educating, it's building trust. And then at the bottom of the funnel, it's helping you drive that decision. So,
Yeah.
that you don't, yes, they are probably top heavy, but you can use them across the board as well. But you also want to use them in a way that is authentic. And I hate that word, but
No,
you
but
want to
it's so true.
use them in their own element, in their own home, whatever content they do, you kind of need to give them your brand and let them loose with it.
Yeah, and so if we go back to the role of driving attention, because I was thinking about that, depending on who you're trying to target, brands become wallpaper, and even myself, you find yourself scrolling, oh, brand ad. Like, and so the thing that I think a really good creator or a really good influencer will give you, if they've got a trusted audience that are used to seeing content from them, they will go, oh, what has this person got to say? And so it'll give you that, I guess, that thumb stopping, that scroll up thumb stop, which a brand ad probably won't give you. But the issue of control is a really tough one, and I sit in that space and I'm like, oh, I've got a CEO on my shoulder saying, brand, I want to see the brief and I want to like make sure say X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, if you want to do that, do traditional ad. Like hire talent to read your script. Like people, I think part of the job as marketers is educating people on the different formats and channels. And if you want the brand guide and the script, hire an actor and a TV crew.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
make it look like it's an
Yeah. Yeah.
influencer
Like
content. Yeah.
yeah, but also that you don't want that's not very authentic. But I mean, a lot of people think that influencer marketing or content creation marketing is new. No, it's not. It's one of the oldest forms, and previously it used to just be the movie stars and the astronauts, given the current moon thing.
Oh yeah.
Sports people. Like influencer content isn't new. People would say it's been democratized, and now you have people that they're not famous in their own right. They basically are just good at content creating, and
Well,
they
but this is the thing, it's also become a vehicle for people. So through the avenue of influence, I think what I'm seeing happening is you might start out as an influencer with a particular audience set, and brands get you to talk about their product. But then there's definitely been a rise of some who are very successful in their own right and have then gone off to start their own brands because they've just literally they've found a model that works, and they go and then they truly become creators and they can name their price effectively.
And I think the people, I mean, I'm a big fan of Paris Hilton and what she's done with her brand, and she, I think she even claims to be the original influencer. I mean, she did come from, a hotel family and, had
Money.
access and money. A lot of she's self-made, like as much money, she got a head start, but, she's built an empire around a very successful brand. Then you've got the Kardashians who are, again, influencer
Yeah.
culture and built empires based on influencing in a reality TV show.
Here's a fun Kardashian fact just to chuck into the podcast, completely unrelated. So when I was sick last week, I ended up watching The Death and Life of Lamar Odom. Interesting. Anyway, one of the things that how she met Lamar is one of his buddies paid Khloe Kardashian $5,000 to turn up at a basketball game, and that's how they met.
Brilliant.
And he made a joke, and he's like, "Well, she's obviously worth that. She was very cheap back then," and that is probably a really good example of going, I had influence and I got paid something, and I turned up, but now the rise of turning into a brand in and of your own self.
100%. And so if we take the B2B lens, most B2B brands already have an influencer, and it's typically the CEO or the founder, head of sales. And, these people have been idolized, probably, given our capitalist society. You've got your Mark Zuckerberg, you've got your Jeff Bezos, these, especially in the tech side, have been idolized and put on that pedestal. But even the big Fortune 500 companies here in Australia and New Zealand, a lot of the CEOs are mini celebrities.
Yeah.
At least within their own employee network. If you've got 10,000 people working for you, they all kind of largely celebrate the CEO.
And then that founder becomes the brand to some extent. And I think more and more, and I thought this was really interesting too, is employees as influencers. So there are some companies that have done, and I don't mean this in a real eye-rolly, I don't know if you've ever seen companies where they go, okay, everyone simply must go on their LinkedIn profile, and they give you the header to put up, and they tell you what you should be posting. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about companies where the team actually want to post and have something to say.
Yeah, and also they're supported by probably a comms and marketing team that help them with structure and brand pillars and messaging pillars and things. So some people do it really well and make it look organic and human. Others are very, robotic. Here's the latest report, 20-page white paper.
So pleased to release our sustainability report. And I think having a point of view, right? Like, so if we're talking B2B influencers, the best thing you can do is have a point of view, obviously within those guardrails within the business, so that you are bringing something of your own flavor to it. Because I would say, what's the point otherwise? So, you're just a mouthpiece for the organization.
Yeah, and you want to show your culture, and you want to show what makes your brand human. But then also you need to think about audience, and some brands do influencing for customers and prospective customers. There's some brands that do influencing to hire talent. So if you're a consulting company or a company that needs top talent, some of your influencing might just be, look how cool it is to work here. You should apply, you should come and work for us. Others, and a lot of the B2B content is a bit of that. It's like, this is how cool the culture is here.
And this is
where
how we
others
treat
are going
ourselves.
after the customer. Yeah, exactly. So there are some brands and some creators doing well, and I've got a few examples to go through from both the brands and the creator, especially from B2B. And so one of my favorite all-time creators / influencers is Eugene Healy, who has been on the show. And so he comes from academia. So he is a natural speaker, and he layers in that academic style of talking, but not in a pretentious way, in a very accessible way. Yeah. So like he does use big words, but he explains it, and it's very accessible, and he has such a great following. And so he talks about brand, mostly desire, culture, thinking, a bit of philosophy, behavior, and he builds audience through perspective and
point of view.
Point of view. He uses humor. He is a critic as well, and people really like that. People that kind of, they're not all just yes, positive, etc. And Eugene has partnered with a number of amazing brands, so he often will promote products and services related to his audience, which are typically people in brand and marketing, including Tracksuit, who he has a great partnership with.
And that's such a great example of where the influencer / creator has two things there: really strong alignment with their who they are as people and their values, and so and the thing that they're known for. So it kind of makes sense, right? He's a brand strategist. He works with a brand tracking SaaS business, but not only that. That's a long-term partnership. And I think that is the second point, is this whole idea of a one-off paying an influencer to do an unboxing, or in B2B world, for example, just going, I'm just going to pay Eugene Healy to come and speak at my
And
show.
they do, but he brings his own flavor to it. And he came actually to South by Southwest, and he presented his whole speech was around a funeral and the death of, I think it was a brand guide, maybe, I don't know what it was, but he put his humorous, dark humor spin on it, and it was brilliant, and it was very him, and it was authentic. And he does promote software and companies and a lot of design tools and brand tools, and he shows you how he uses it as well. So it does come across really authentic.
Yeah. One of my faves, and I don't know if I don't even know if he's related to any particular brands, must be Rob Mayhew. Had you ever come across his stuff?
No, what does he do?
He's a comedian, and he talks about it. He talks from the lens of an agency, and it's a behind this. And so he's a huge content creator, and talks from behind the scenes of what it's like to win, like pretending to be in an agency pitch and being the founder of an agency. And
Oh no, I have.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think he spoke at Cannes as well, but
He
he pretends to be an agency exec, or all the in jokes that agency people have about presenting to clients and slides and changing the slide.
Yeah. And he would have a huge amount. You think about the audience that guy would have. It will be dual. It'll be marketers and agency people. And so there's, again, I can't speak to what partnerships he might have from a brand perspective, but the main thing there is really understand, like if you're an influencer, I suppose you want to make sure that your audience is really strongly aligned with the brand that you're going to partner with, and that you're bringing some value to the brand in your own way, but also that the brand is and helping you with your platform as well, right? So that's you're not going to get cancelled for doing terrible content potentially.
No, and I think, you can get challenged for being controversial, and if you do have a point of view, especially a negative point of view, there are some brands that will potentially get litigious, I'm sure, in some places if you're calling them out. But another creator, and this guy is from the US, so Orion John, also goes by the tag of Orion Meets World. He fills up my YouTube, and he's more from a designer. He comes from a marketing and brand and agency, and he's built and scaled companies, and where Eugene is sharing a lot of like theory and thinking, he's sharing examples and he does product demonstrations and talks about design, and he does a lot of product promotion as well.
Oh yeah, cool.
So those are two of the creators, but I also have some examples of brands that do it really well.
Oh, brands as creators?
Well, no, brands that utilize content creators or influencers. And so one of them is Vanta. So Vanta does a super boring category, which is compliance and SOC 2 compliance and other things. So it's basically the things that tech companies need to do to prove that their systems are secure. But essentially they use a lot of comedians. So they turn a really boring subject, which is compliance, into something extremely funny and engaging, playing on kind of corporate politics and, the sales not knowing what they're selling and tech not being helpful. And they lean into it really well.
That's a wonderful example of so we talked about that whole idea of attention and credibility. That will get attention. Like what better way to build a brand? You've got to get cut through. That's the hardest thing, particularly in B2B.
And another brand doing it really well is ClickUp. In fact, ClickUp have their own comedy, like dedicated comedy channel in Instagram, and they have so many influencers coming in. They have Vincent Marcus, which was one of the most hilarious content creators, and he puts on different accents, and basically one of the enduring skits is him harassing the receptionist who he has a big crush on and is completely inappropriate, and the boss calls him out on it, and it's just, they really lean into that office humor, office politics. It is amazing.
Well, what I thought you were going to say just then was the brand as the creator, and the classic example there. Can you guess what I'm going to say?
No. Oh yes, yeah.
And it's a really interesting dynamic there, because they basically have created. Obviously, they've got their mascot with the owl. But it's all internally led, creator led focus. So they've done a wonderful job of bringing their brand to life purely through this idea of content creation and really, and they've done lots of collabs. Like that's the other thing that's been really cool about Duolingo. Did you see this is a side note, they did an April Fool's post. Did you hear about this?
I haven't seen I haven't seen the Duos one.
So they created a fake TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Where everyone's like Love Island, but nobody, no one spoke the same language.
Wow, I love
And
that.
so
That's such a cool concept.
The only way
That's
they
brilliant.
could communicate was via Duolingo.
Wow.
I thought that was so brilliant. And
So
again,
basically, they were just talking about coffee and croissants. That's basically all I get from my Geo.
where is the library?
Where is the library or the restroom? Who, your mother, your father. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
It is the same. And I've taken a few language courses with Duo. I'm currently on Italian because French got too hard. So yeah,
I love it.
I kind of reached my peak with French, and now I'm like going through the Italian.
I've done that. I've graduated. And then so probably the other thing. I mean, there's lots of good examples, right? The main thing for me is. Look, I'm going to put my hand up and say, I don't think I've done a great job of this. But if you are thinking about an ongoing, so first of all, good brand fit, but it would be wonderful to see ongoing collaboration. And I think it's worked really well. And we've talked about that Alex Earl Poppy thing. So when I was in the States the other week, Poppy is everywhere. Like everywhere, the shelf space that brand has got is outrageous. I don't think I understood how big it was. And and I think the best kind of use of an influencer or creator for your brand is make it an ongoing thing. And I think maybe this is the modern version of how we used to have sponsorship. We used to go, well, we sponsor a sports team or we sponsor a blah, blah, blah.
It's two brands coming together at the end of the day. It's a personal brand and a corporate brand. And you are essentially borrowing trust. So you're borrowing, it's one brand wanting to borrow the trust from another brand. And whether that's a brand collab or it's an influencer or it's a celebrity endorsement, it's the same thing. It's humans wanting to feel comfortable choosing your brand. And it's one way of doing that.
Would we be talking about the gap if it wasn't for Sydney Sweeney last year? Like probably
Yeah,
not.
exactly. And I mean, that's the other thing is that sometimes you just have to lean into it. And when it goes crazy, lean in even harder.
Just ride the PR. I mean, and this is the other thing. And let's go again, just coming back to that attention side of things. Sometimes so one of the things that's happened, there's been a couple of really big PR moments in the last 12 months since we've been doing this podcast. And there have been studies that have shown that while there's been lots of chat about it, sales haven't decreased as a result of these, these PR nightmares.
And also sometimes they haven't materially increased. I mean, there's a whole lot of conjecture about whether the Gap did well. But, a lot of this is long-term brand trust as well, or at least long-term brand awareness.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think in essence, used well, and it's hard for me as an old school marketer to kind of embrace this, but I think it's really necessary. Used well, influencers and creators can be a real, it's an and to your brand, not an either or. And I still think that brand ecosystem is really important. I still think there's a place for brand and your distinctive brand assets and using those. There's a time and a place for that. But yeah, finding someone you can work with to create really great content that speaks to your audience, I think is an absolute plus. But it's just, I also question whether marketers know how to brief a creator properly. Like I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I did pull together a few tips on, okay, so you've never used an influencer before. How do you go about finding them? So this really simplifies it down. So identify creators with real trust. So look at people that have an organic following. And I think this is a theme across all marketing, and the same with loyalty. Look for the organic engagement first, real trust. And you want to, as much as possible, align the organic audience of the creator to the audience that you're trying to reach as well. So there's, no point in choosing a creator that, it doesn't have your potential customer demographic, even if you like them personally.
Yeah.
And then you want to align on shared problems. And a lot of these content creators are making humor or educating on problems. and you don't want to align on the product. And that's where that whole problem focus is so important rather than that solution focus.
Yeah.
And don't script them. Never, ever script them. You have to enable them, and you have to look for that shared ground. If you want to script, do traditional television or radio.
I 100% agree with you. It's so easy to say, harder to implement in real life. And I get it. Like, I totally get it. But I just know in real life sometimes that's very difficult.
Yeah. And the real effort should be in your research on getting that shortlist, involve your execs or your client in that choosing process, get them to say, this is the type of content they do. Are you comfortable with it? Like, don't leave it to once you've chosen them to script it. No. And then finally, amplify across channels. So once you've got this amazing content, make sure you've got the right agreements in place that let you own this content, maybe not forever, but at least for, 3 months, 6 months. Yeah. And push it across everywhere. Outbound email, billboards, television, YouTube pre-roll, whatever it is, you use it, amplify across channels. And most importantly, not just your channels, get them to amplify it on their own channels as well. So, you want this to reach their natural audience as well. That is an oversimplification. There are agencies that specialize in this. Reach out to a specialist agency if you're wanting it done, or give it a go yourself. There's also a lot of tools as well. But yeah, it's such an amazing channel.
The other thing I would say too is give yourself enough time to really understand what you're getting. So I've been in situations often where it's like, we need to get a campaign out the door, and we've got 100 influencers to go through, we've got 30 to choose, and it can be quite arduous. I'm not kidding. It can be very arduous to go through everyone's Instagram handles, and then of course what happens is you go into Instagram or whatever, and then you get stuck there. You forget why you're there in the first place. So give yourself enough time to understand who it is that you're getting into bed with. I think that's probably the advice I would give, because it can be a little bit like, oh, God, shit, we've got to make a decision. Let's make this happen. We've got something launching next week. So,
next week that's not the brief. I mean, that's not the brief for any campaign. Come on, marketers, do better. We give yourself enough time to do a good job, 4 to 6 weeks, you want to, if you're putting things behind it, give yourself and your team and your agencies enough time to do a good job.
It's that last 5% that really makes a difference. It really is the execution.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, it's still about business impact though. And that's what people are really going to care about. And this isn't really about influencers. This is about how modern buyers, both B2B and B2C, build trust in brands. And that's what it's about.
And meet your consumer where they are. I think, I think if it is an and for your brand, not a, we think that's the other thing. Don't do it just because you think you should. If it's meeting your target audience, your target customer, where they're hanging out and the kinds of things that they're interested in, it's an intersection of their interests and what you have to offer, then that's a really great match.
100%.
Awesome.
Good.
Well, thanks for that, Ben. That was a great little chat about influencers. I was happy.
That was very good. Can the Marketing Podcast is brought to you by Human Digital and Q Marketing. Our editor is Bruna Barbosa. New episodes drop weekly, so tell your friends and colleagues.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow and subscribe to Canned wherever you listen. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and if you want the full visual experience, check us out on YouTube.
See you next week.